Welcome back, guys, to Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutors Gambit, where last episode, telling Simeon Saint that it was his father that was the murderer, not the murdered party, we heard more about his struggles running away from the conspiratorial trio after him, and what he did to get at them. Considering what he did to be incitement, Simeon pointed out that he had only shared pertinent information and never told anyone to act upon it in his correspondence. That is until we tried to present a recording of the bug during his prior phone call with us, leading us to hear a gunshot from 2 nights ago that the fake president fired at the hot air balloon before his own death. We now hear what really happened that night, or at least Saint's version of events. I'll admit I flew the balloon up to the roof, but when I arrived, Judge Gavelle and the president were already there. That came as a surprise, I have to say. Only the president noticed me and he made the good judge leave right away. But then he pointed his gun at me and fired. But why was he trying to shoot down the balloon? Oh, that's simple enough. When I arrived, he was just about to murder your friend, the judge here. Me? Yeah, you. You told him about Sean. What did you think would happen? Why do you think he met with you in the first place? He thought you were going to expose him as an imposter. Because she knew the truth about Sean's parentage. He was afraid. Huh, afraid? Yeah, you could say that. Man was a total coward. His hands were shaking so much when he tried to get rid of me, he couldn't even shoot straight. So you see, I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was an innocent bystander. Yeah, totally. I'll admit, I flew the balloon up to the roof, but when I arrived... Hold it! Not much to press here. Around what time would that have been? Just after 11, I think. That's when you and your pal went up to the roof, right, Your Honor? Yes, it was. No contradictions there. But the fact that we've confirmed the time is important nonetheless. And because I arrived when I did, Judge Gavelle and the president were already there. That came as a surprise, I have to say. Hold it! So you didn't expect to find the two of them there? Of course not. Why would I? But it's lucky I got there when I did. We all know what would have happened if I'd been any later. He was just about to try and kill you, Gavelle. You really didn't suspect a thing? I am afraid I did not. I had no idea. Maybe you shouldn't have blabbed to him about the kid. Did you ever think of that? I was merely trying to... what kind of mother are you? You're lucky he didn't kill you and then go after the boy. Objection! I'm your opponent here, not Judge Gavelle. Leave her alone and tell us what we need to know. Don't worry, Your Honor. I'll take it from here. I am in your debt, Mr. Edgeworth. As is Sean, I trust that you will look after us both. And I pray that the goddess of justice will watch over us all. Your precious goddess didn't even warn you there was a balloon right behind you. Only the president noticed me and he made the good judge leave right away. Hold it! He made her leave, but why? Wasn't he planning to kill her? Sure, but I bet he didn't want to do it in front of a witness. Murderers don't tend to like that. She still didn't know he wasn't the real president, right? His secret was safe for the time being. And now that he knew about Sean, he could kill both of them whenever he wanted. You two got lucky when he died, ah! Why the frowns? I'd be smiling from ear to ear if I were you. I don't think anybody will be smiling until this matter has been cleared up once and for all. So please, continue if you would. Your wish is my command. Where were we? Oh yeah, that coward of a fake president. I guess a witness suddenly appearing in the sky must have shaken him up pretty badly and he panicked. Then he pointed his gun at me and fired. Hold it! You're lucky that the bullet only struck the bottom of the basket. Yeah, I tried to get out of there the second he pulled out that gun. Couldn't have my balloon go and pop. But it was a close run thing. 2 left right then and there. Of course I did. He was shooting at me. Are you saying there's a problem with that? Does that present a problem? You're in a balloon. Yeah, of course there's a problem. I mean, you were there to drop someone off, weren't you? Do lots of weird shenanigans. Right? In the end, you managed to leave Kay there up on that rooftop. Which means you didn't actually leave the vicinity, did you? Oh yeah, guess I forgot to tell you the next part. After he shot me, he escaped through the hatch to the 51st floor. I hung around a little longer to make sure the coast was clear, then I landed on the roof. Would you mind appending that statement to your testimony? Makes no difference to me. After he shot me, he escaped through the hatch to the 51st floor. So...
Hold it!
We'll have to dispute this somehow, most likely. Hatch that leads to the storeroom where the items from the underground auction were kept. The auction? My memories are still a bit fuzzy, but the auction was 2 days ago, right? Indeed. The auction was being held on the 50th floor that day. And a bunch of people who were going in and out of the storeroom while it was happening, yes? They were. Which means that if the president really did escape that way, as Mr. Saint says, somebody must have seen him. There's no way he could have passed through there unnoticed. The problem is the time at which each event occurred. But should the times line up, I can think of a certain piece of evidence that could prove helpful to our case. So his story is that he just happened to witness the events on the roof from the balloon. If Simeon hadn't come along when he did, Judge Gravel might have been in serious trouble. So he's basically a savior, right? I don't think it's quite that simple. After all, he was there to commit a crime too. But in order to expose that crime, we'll need to go over his testimony in detail. There must be a hole in it somewhere. So it must be like the 4th or 5th statement. Most likely the 5th. And presidential information. The president escaped. Will present. This heart was in the 51st floor. I just end up on it and like read it and go like, what's this? 51st floor storeroom the night before last, but didn't see the president pass through at all.
Objection!
Correct. You're lying to us again. I am. The president never entered the storeroom the night before last. Aha. Miss Hart testified to that fact. What? So he never left the roof through the door, the security camera. He didn't leave through the auction place, obviously. The only option that he has to leave then is where? And then he got crushed. Did you land a balloon on him? Did you legitimately land the balloon on him somehow? What? And you believe the word of a 2-bit hack over mine? I beg your gosh dang pardon? Say that about the chief again, I dare you. I'll wipe that smile right off your stupid clown face. So we know Hart was camped out on the 51st floor that entire evening. But if our fake president didn't escape through there, then how the heck did he get off the roof? An excellent question, and one that I hope to provide the answer to next. We know that he didn't leave via the elevator, so neither that nor the hatch are possibilities. Which leaves only one possible way of escaping that rooftop. How did the president leave the rooftop if it wasn't via the elevator or the hatch? It's gotta be the balloon.
Take that!
He flew. He flew? Yes, in Mr. Saint's balloon.
Objection!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Quit fooling around, will ya? Why in the world would I give that guy a lift in my balloon?
Objection!
There was a security camera on the elevator, and Miss Hart was on the 51st floor the whole time. There's no other way he could have left that rooftop.
Objection!
You know what this circus is all about? Making the audience think you're in danger. Giving them a thrill. But it's time to bring this act to an end. I'm not in danger here, even if you think I am. What do you mean? Watch and learn, Miss Hart. Can I ask you something? You were keeping guard on the 51st floor the whole time, right? Never even blinking for a moment. You bet your big toe I was. I done said as much in my testimony.
Objection!
So the noise, the sound of Miles' faithful assistant falling through the hatch. That didn't scare you so badly that you fainted. So maybe I ought to have mentioned this before, but I fell asleep for a few winks after that. Well, passed out. Unconscious, you might say. What? What happened? What happened? That explains the noise that caused you to faint as well, Miss Hart. It was the sound of Kay crash landing onto the storeroom floor. Well, so what if I did? Ain't a girl in the world don't get caught a little unaware sometimes. Sorry, Miles, but that's what you get for putting your faith in these people. Objection! It doesn't matter. Kay can't have fallen down the hatch until after the president left the roof. Objection! Are you sure about that? Allow me to offer a little counter theory. The coward fake president fired his gun at me. Then he hid in the shadows until after your friend fell down the hatch. So what if he did? What would that mean? Objection! Come now, surely even you can see what I'm insinuating here. It's elementary. If the president hid until after Miss Hart fainted, he could have passed right through the 51st floor undetected. No. And there we have it. Your little theory about the secret storeroom falls apart. No! Did he have to do that to me in my own voice? That's right. Oh, and another thing. I might have let Sean's identity slip to our pal the president while he was hiding in the shadows. That's why he went to the set to try and murder him the next day, only to wind up being killed himself. That's right, it was Sean who murdered the body double. Objection! What possible reason could the boy have for doing so? Objection! Oh, a pretty good one. He already knew he was the president's son. And how did he discover that exactly? Because I told him in one of my trademark letters. What? He's lying. Oh, you bet I am. Huh? Or am I? Maybe I did tell him. Maybe I didn't. Well, Shawnee boy, which is it? It was my fault the Torosaurus head fell off that roof. I admitted that much already. But I didn't find out about my dad until today. I swear. Ah, well. I knew about the falling head thanks to the bug. But who knew it was you who made it fall? And the president died from being crushed, was it? Ah! Alright, well, that's confirmed at least. You were the murderer. Congrats on getting your revenge. That ties everything up pretty neatly, wouldn't you say? Although I guess you'd say something more like, and so the pieces fall into place at last. Well, counter my unassailable logic if you can. I'm so even more next level posh when saying it via you. The words you use, that's the issue. The murder of the so-called president. You know my MO by now, right? I'm a hands-off kind of guy. I just like to pull a few strings here and there. That was the case with Bronco, with Chairman Winner. So what makes you think I'd let that fake president step foot on my balloon? Besides, I thought he was crushed to death by that model monster head. And who set old Torosaurus' noggin a fooling, huh? It all makes perfect sense. That's how our imposter wound up dead, no doubt about it. And what was the motive behind the murder? The little truth I shared, just like I said. Get it? The truth. That thing you're so fond of? That's what caused the murder here, not me. No, that's not possible. Well, is there a detective in the house? Somebody arrest that boy. Can't help noticing nobody rushing to slap on the handcuffs. What's the matter? Curse you. Just as I thought. Admit it, you're all the same. You, Winner, that idiot phony president. You want the real culprit to go free so you can railroad me into a jail cell, don't you? That's the justice you all claim to love so much. You only love it when you can twist it to suit your needs. Overruled. That's not true. Objection. Well, if you're not going to make the move, guess I'll have to step outside and speak to an officer myself. Once I tell them the kid is a murderer, maybe then they'll finally do something. Objection! We're not done with your testimony yet, Mr. Saint. How did I know you'd make some excuse for stalling even longer? But you still don't have any proof, do you? Or any chance of winning this? Tell me I'm wrong. And yet you still want to prolong the agony? Well, as long as you know what you're doing. He's not holding back. What? Did you forget that little Shawnee's life is on the line too? Hey, Malzarino. Take a deep breath for me, would you? Why would I do that, Fender? Because it's times like these you need to kick back, take stock and be grateful for what you have. The worst of times are when lawyers calmly show our biggest smiles. Remember? The way in which the president made his escape is what you and Laughing Boy can't agree on. So how about this for a little thought experiment? What if it's not about whether the big guy in the purple jacket got on that balloon or not? But rather, under what conditions would Simeon have been cool with letting him get on board? A turnabout in thinking. Forgive the interruption. Just my 2 cents worth. Or your old man's, I guess I should say. Maybe Gregory's techniques can still prove useful in this crazy modern era. He's right. Under what circumstances could the body double have been allowed on that balloon? He was a physically imposing man. What's more, he was carrying a gun. Could he have been drugged? No. There were no traces of sedatives found during his autopsy. In which case... surely not. Are you about ready to continue, Miles? Don't forget, this is what we're playing for. Ugh, I don't like it. This is going to be tricky. I have to tear his testimony down. One statement at a time. I was about to say something idiotic in the fact that, well, at least I get 2 attempts. But looking even if I had a full bar, it would be 2 attempts anyway. I was about to say, how much testimony did you give me? 5. You know my MO by now, right? I'm a hands-off kind of gun. I just like to pull a few strings here and there. Hold it! The strings in question being those of Sean, the president's body double in this case, who seem pretty confident of your abilities in that particular arena. Is that so weird? I'm an animal tamer, remember? And what's the wildest animal of them all? That's right, humans. Didn't take much to get those 2 dancing to my 2. A little truth here, a little hint of revenge there. Somebody ought to thank me. I did us what a favor. Mr. Edgeworth, he's scaring me. Don't let him get under your skin, Kay. We have to stay strong. This man sowed the seeds of another's revenge in order to achieve his own. It's our duty to stop him, and we will succeed in that duty. Why do people do bad things, huh? Don't they realize it will just come back to bite them in the end? That was the case with Bronco, with Chairman Winner. Hold it! And so you insisted you had no direct involvement in any of what occurred. What can I say? I don't like to get my hands dirty. Sure do love to watch the action unfold, though. All those idiots desperately trying to kill one another, and they don't even know I lit the fuse. I love it! You haven't changed. What you did 12 years ago was watch 2. You're talking about the whole SS5 thing? Stop it! You poor bopper. Scrabbling around for answers and finding nothing. Shucks. What do they call that again? Oh yeah, ranking competence. How dare you! Agent Lang, please. You don't know the half of it, you damn clown! Your father may not have closed out the case. Not publicly, anyway. But it was thanks to his work that we're standing here right now. Sorry to butt in, Miles. But your little pep talk isn't going to magically solve this case. Now I know you have your theories. So what makes you think I let that fake president set foot on my balloon? Hold it! It's the only way he could have gotten down from the roof of that building. Alright, let's game this one out, shall we? Suppose I took him down to the ground like you said. What's wrong with doing that? Objection! To admit it, you did take him on your balloon. Objection! You're really obsessing over this one little detail. This isn't like you, Miles. And how do you think it went down? He held me at gunpoint and said, "Show me the city at night." That's ridiculous and you know it is. Or did you really fail to think this through? Objection! You said yourself you gave him Sean's identity. Surely that was enough to win him over. Objection! Win him over? The man who shot at me? No. Then you must have put him to sleep and carried him away like you did with me. Objection! Very well, let us suppose that to be true for a second. Did the autopsy show the presence of sedatives? It's no good. He's just not giving us an opening. Anyway, never mind all that. There are way more interesting things I'd rather talk about. Besides, I thought he was crushed to death by that model monster head.
Hold it!
Actually, I have some doubts about that. I mean, if the president really was killed by the Taurosaurus head.
Objection.
Here we go. Don't tell me you're throwing your own pet theory in the trash, Mr. Genius Prosecutor. Aren't you the one who went to all that trouble to prove the man's squished by head hypothesis was true?
Objection!
That may have been my theory at one point, but that was when we thought the head was the only thing that could have crushed him.
Objection!
Why the past tense? That's still your theory, no? It's not like you have anything else right now. The president's body double was crushed under the fallen Taurosaurus head. Fact. No. There must be something. Some other piece of evidence that could link this man to the president's death by crushing. Don't you think it's time you gave up, Miles? I don't like watching you struggle like this. We all know who did it. The model head is practically screaming his name. And you said old Taurosaurus is not going to fooling, huh? I think this is an irrelevant statement to press at all, but I will press it.
Hold it!
It's statement 4. Sure, Sean was the one who caused the head to fall, that much we know. He even admitted it himself. Fantastic. Sworn agreement? Well done, everybody. Case closed. Sean Fenn killed the fake president, and that's that. Somebody get those cops in here.
Objection!
Not so fast. This case is far from closed. Haha, still scrabbling, huh? Well, all right then, enlighten us. Be quick about it. If you can't, I want to see the kid in handcuffs. Or are you only a stickler about the law when things are going your way? Mr. Edgeworth, what do we do? What do we do? Think, Miles. Think. If Mr. Saint killed the president's body double, it would have to have happened while the two of them were together on the roof. So what would he have had to hand? That's the answer. That would tell us how he was killed. He's not going to make this easy, is he? We need to think about how the president died. It was a very particular cause, to say the least. If we assume he was crushed by the Taurosaurus head, then the whole thing becomes Sean's fault, right? But what if that wasn't what the president was crushed by? Is there something else that could have exerted a similar kind of force? It really is! I'm so glad it is as well when I said it earlier. Also, I admire you, Simeon. Ace animal tamer, human manipulator, mastermind. All of this we're forgetting, like your youth. But equally, obviously it gave you a very focused life afterwards. But ace balloon pilot. I don't think there's that many people that could target a balloon to crush someone to death. But somehow, you're that guy. It's bonkers, but this is true.
Objection!
I knew the music was going to stop too. What a shot! I admire that. Sean didn't kill the president. The president was crushed by a monster. What? Did he really just say that? You? Oh, I get it. He's the kid who can communicate with giant beasts, right? Did he use his special powers? The only person in communion with monsters was you. Sorry, but you must have mixed up with somebody else. No monster pals here, I'm afraid.
Objection!
Why the false modesty? You're very close with at least one such creature. In fact, you can make this particular monster do exactly as you command. It was you who killed the president, Mr. Saint, and I can prove it. What? You're talking about the lion balloon. Yes, a quivering mockery of a monster filled with hot air, but a monster nonetheless. Not entirely unlike Mr. Saint himself. Sorry, you lost me. What are you trying to say exactly?
Objection!
You seem very keen to stick to your story about having manipulated Sean and the president. But no matter how true you may have wanted it to be, that was nothing more than a desperate lie. Even the most skilled animal tamer can't make the dead do his bidding. And the president was dead long before he left that roof. Having been killed by your balloon. I get it. That thing may look lighter than air, but it weighs a few £100, right? When the president attacked you from the roof, you had to think quickly in order to protect yourself. The method you chose, landing the balloon right on top of him. You didn't need to let him ride on that balloon, and he didn't need to coerce you into taking him. Because what you took away was his dead body.
Objection.
Wait a minute now, Miles. If what you're saying is true, the president would have been killed 2 nights ago. Which would mean the time of death recorded in the autopsy was wrong. It would. Oh? Yeah? Ooh. Wow. You're really losing your touch. Look again. It's written right there. Time of death, April 5th at approximately 11 p.m. Clear as day. Yeah. April 5th. That was yesterday, which means... Exactly. Means he died when the pterosaur's head fell off of that roof. Alright, Sean, it's time to be honest with us all. You know it's the right thing to do. You killed your daddy, didn't you? You hated him, didn't you? We get it. Who wouldn't? He just left you. What kind of a father would do that? No, that's not what happened. I already told you. I didn't know who he was until today. Oh, but you did know, because I told you myself. Can my theory really have been so wide of the mark? I want to thank you once again, Miles. You had a winner in Lagarde until their crimes were finally exposed. By ruining them both, you helped me get my revenge. Gotta love those powers of deduction. The time of death matched up. Everything else would fit. So, could he possibly have cheated the time of death somehow? Oh, and what was the other guy's name again? Carmelo Gusto? You even ran him down for me. That was some great work you did there. Of course, Gusto. The IS-7 incident. He killed Frost and froze his body in order to conceal it. Mr. Gusto needed to freeze Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect. Bingo! I only wish I could have been there to see his downfall too. How can you say that? He was your father. It's so scary, Mr. Card. Just keeps asking about what happened that day. Where are you, Dad? When you coming to get me? Please, I need you to come take me away. Is it because I broke my promise? Because I didn't show up in time to help you taste your work? He was no father. He left me all on my own. What kind of person would do that? We may have shared the same blood, but that's it. Father? What a joke.
Objection!
You may not want to hear this, Mr. Saint, but you share more than blood. Hate him all you like, but you're more like your father than you know. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Fate can be strange sometimes, but this was no coincidence. You and your father were the same even in the methods you chose. You deliberately threw off the time of death just as he did. That's right. We had to rescue him from a warehouse refrigeration unit down by the harbor. A refrigeration unit in a depot. I threw off the time of death? How did I do that exactly? By hiding the president's body in a very specific place. You hid the body right here, so I guess it's there because this was just what was said.
Take that!
You needed to keep the body cool somewhere, and you also needed somewhere to keep Sean. Who knew that the two were connected? You're talking about the kidnapping again? Why are we bringing that up now? Because much as you may wish we had forgotten, we know that you kept Sean in a refrigeration unit. The same refrigeration unit in which you kept the president's body. Just as your father froze the body he was trying to conceal 18 years ago. What? You're saying I'm the same as him? The same as the animal who abandoned me? Sad irony, but an undeniable truth nonetheless.
Objection!
Shut up! I'm nothing like him. I could never be like him. He's nothing to do with me, and we're nothing alike.
Objection!
Sorry, kiddo, but I think it's pretty clear that you and old Gusto have more than a little in common. You even told us you didn't like sweet stuff way back when we first met, right? If that's not a product of your daddy issues, I don't know what is. You don't understand. You may have tried to disown your father, but he lives on in everything you do. You think the same way. And you're every bit as prepared as he was to sacrifice others in order to protect yourself. Your crimes were even exposed in the same manner. You couldn't be more similar. Or should I say... I don't know anything about a refrigeration unit. And the kidnapping? Nothing to do with me.
Objection!
Nonsense. You did it so you could blackmail Judge Gavel. We know for a fact you were involved.
Objection!
You're a real danger to be around, you know that, Miles? What aren't you going to accuse me of? But it changes nothing. You still don't have any proof of incitement, of kidnapping, of anything. Oh wait, or are you planning on maybe fabricating some? Taking a leaf out of the old winner playbook? Never. I would never do that. I can't let myself rise to the provocation. What was the line? No matter what happens, we must find the truth. Something like that? Ha! But only when the truth suits you, huh? That's how the law keeps people down, isn't it? And why I had to get my revenge myself. I got away with it! I got away with it all! Legard, winner, and now you. None of you can touch me. This is bad, Mr. Edgeworth. Isn't there anything we can do? Everything points to this man being our culprit. But we need evidence, even just one piece. Alright, it's been fun, but it's time we brought this little show to an end, don't you think? Stick around for the main event though, won't you? I'll even let you in for free, if you finally admit defeat. Who was that? Gummy!
Sorry to keep you waiting, sir.
Gummy, where have you been?
I've been doing my job, just like Mr. Edgeworth asked me.
And Detective Gumshoe, do you have anything to report?
I had them look into a few things real quick, sir, about the refrigeration unit where the kid was kept. It was registered to the Very Big Circus, just like you said. And there it is, just in the nick of time.
Excellent work, Detective. Well, Mr. Saint? Must be some kind of mistake. Why would a circus need a refrigeration unit? I mean, for meat storage for the animals. I'd thought would be one you might... One, maybe? A valid question, I suppose, but we're no experts on the circus trade. Perhaps we could ask your department manager for her thoughts on the matter. Well, Miss Berry? We do hire a unit to store the food for the animals. But I don't know where it is. I leave all that to Simeon. He's so good at that kind of thing.
You fool!
Simeon, you're scaring me. Such a shame. But rushing to find a solution after the fact so often leads to mistakes. You knew that if the body was found in the unit, the suspicion would fall on you. So you panicked and moved it to the grounds of the big building instead. But you weren't counting on Sean being found in the unit when you kidnapped him. If only you had known you were up against a great thief and an even greater detective. Is everything all right? You're looking a little pale. Don't think you won just yet, Miles. You're missing proof for the most important part of your little theory. I am. Perhaps you could enlighten us. You don't have any evidence that I crushed the presidential faker with that balloon. And I know you don't, because there isn't any. I'm afraid there is.
What?
If Mr. Saint murdered the victim as we think he did, there should be traces of your misdeed on this piece of evidence. Well, the weapon, obviously.
Take that!
Analysis of the balloon basket should turn up the evidence we need. The balloon again! You already have your bullet hole. What else do you expect to find? We, expect to find plenty, actually. Isn't that right, Mr. Edgeworth? If there's truth to be found, then he'll find it. He's a hero of justice.
He sure is. We'll find something for sure. Mr. Edgeworth has gotten out of way tight spots than this one. Well, they said, we believe in you, Miles Reno. And so does your pop. He's looking down on you right now. I know he is.
Just stay calm and see this through to the end, Miles Edgeworth. A perfect victory is only moments away. The president's body double was killed by the balloon. Traces of a certain substance will prove that. And you, Simeon Saint, will pay for your crimes at last. I'm looking forward to this. Time to wrap up the mysteries of past and present, once and for all. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, deal the final blow to this unforgivably wicked man. This last piece of evidence will prove your guilt beyond a doubt. What should we expect to find on the balloon if it was used to crush the president? Well, if we look at the president, we can see that there's a little bit on him. Extra stuff that hasn't been brought up during all of this. The flecks of a yellow substance found stuck on the clothing identified as lion lily pollen. The only point in time that was given to him was on the roof by a certain Verity Gavel. So what we should find on the place is that. Recovered from on top of his body by Sean. Kind of weirdly placed, right? But if it is that crushed him, he would have been holding it. So therefore, it should be on there too. The basket of the balloon. I'm really weird. Please?
Take that!
When Sean found the president's body, he also found a bouquet of lion lilies.
Lion lilies, symbol of the connection between parent and child. A popular flower back in Zengfa.
That's your proof! A bunch of flowers will be rotting in the dump by now. A bunch of flowers that Sean threw away. So much for your beautiful symbol of parental connection. That's got nothing to do with any of this. Ignore him, Sean. You threw those flowers away, that much is true. But the bond they represented remains as strong as it ever was. The president held on to them until the last, an act which provided us with our final piece of evidence.
What? What are you talking about?
The flowers Sean disposed of had been squashed flat. They must have been crushed by the balloon. If we examine the basket for traces of lion lily pollen, what do you think we might find? No. You don't need to do that. You looked over the basket just now. Anyway, if there was pollen stuck to it, you would have seen it. Those flowers are bright yellow.
Objection!
Not all evidence is visible to the naked eye, Mr. Saint.
Huh? Emma!
Yeah? I'd like to call on your scientific skills once again, if you don't mind. Leave it to me. All right, let's take a look at this balloon basket, shall we? Ah, I've got something. Bright yellow pollen, just like you said. If it's from the same flower, it shouldn't take more than another quick test to prove it.
What?
And there we have it. You murdered the president, and this murder you carried out yourself.
No, how could this... No!
You crushed the president with that balloon. Then you loaded his body into the basket and took him to the refrigeration unit.
But why? Why go to the trouble of removing the body?
Because he knew another incident was scheduled to occur that same evening. Oh, Rosie Ringer's murder. Exactly. If he had left the body there, it would have interfered with his other plans.
I get it, but he couldn't leave the body in the refrigeration unit for too long either, right?
Indeed not. So while returning to the big building to drop the body off again the following night, he must have observed the fire Sean caused and the Taurosaurus head falling as a result. That's what gave you the idea, wasn't it? To frame Sean for the murder. You made it seem as if the falling head was what killed him so that my son would take the blame. Despicable coward! In order to achieve your aim, you lowered the president's body from the balloon to the lot below. And while he was dangling from the rope you used, he was caught on Sean's rehearsal tape. No, how did you
How did you see through it all? How? How? You manipulated people, and you manipulated this case just as you manipulate animals on the stage. You thought you were all-powerful, but your reign is at an end.
The animals look like they're mad with you, Simeon. Even Money and Isaiah. They thought you were their friend, but you're not. They're sad and mad all at the same time.
So stop it! Stop looking at me like that! Perhaps they will when you finally stop clowning around. You're not cut out for comedy. Your tale is destined to end with a whimper. I don't... Get away from me! Get away from me! Leave me alone! Dad, where are you? I'm so scared. I don't know what you're talking about. I've done nothing wrong. Nothing! I'm not the bad one. They are. Why, Bronco? Why did you stop me from going to see my dad? If only none of them did what they did, I wouldn't have had to. I couldn't trust the police. I couldn't trust anybody. I was all alone with nobody to help me. But that man, he helped me. Canis was the only one who ever helped me, so what if I used people? I had to. Is that so wrong? No, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Ow, that hurts. Stop it. No. Ah, no. Okay. Who's saying this? It seems the game is up at last. Ah! The killer! Mr. Edgeworth, may I be the first to congratulate you? You have unmasked the person behind this entire sorry affair. Now I am free to... No! Guns are so clumsy, don't you find? I don't have a gun! Please, not only are you carrying one, you were just about to draw it. You must have stolen it from the president after murdering him. This gentleman betrayed a bond of trust. He knew the so-called president was an imposter, and yet he employed me to kill him nonetheless. There is nothing more dangerous for an assassin than to be lied to about the nature of one's target. If one does not know what cards one's opponent is holding, one can be very unpleasantly surprised. But that was not your true crime. No, thinking you could deceive me, manipulate me, that is the crime for which you are about to pay. No!
What the hell is going on here?
You! It's been a while, the killer. Step aside, Canis. That man is my target. I would politely ask that you call off this particular job. He'll pay for his crimes, but in prison, not at the end of your blade. And if I refuse, let us just say that I might not take the loss of the one life that I ever saved too well. You save a life. Bodied harmer Canis, the blind butcher himself. Preposterous, I know. But yes, I, who have taken so many lives, once chose to preserve one. That of an innocent young pup. And he, in his turn, saved mine. Something of a bond formed between us. Laugh all you like. I know I would. But I would respectfully request that you spare him. As one professional to another, I ask you let this particular target live. Very well. The boy must mean a lot to you. Thank you. I am in your debt. You need not thank me. I simply see little point in the two of us killing one another. Now then, I bid you all good day. No! Get back here! I imagine that was a smoke bomb or something. You have my thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. This young pup needed to be shown the error of his ways, and you have done just that. Alright, I suppose we'd better be getting back. Our ironclad enclosure awaits. Doesn't it, Helmut? Yes, it does. Oh. Hello. Who's here now?
You killed my dad, didn't you, old man?
I will not lie. I did. My victims deserve to be remembered, at the very least. But I sense a great hatred for me from you, horned pup. In that case...
Sean! No!
You must not falter, little one. Here, you may use my knife. Take it, and cut my throat. One sure slice is all it takes. I was growing rather tired of carving my little statues anyway.
I want revenge. I want it so badly. Sean, don't do it! Oh, please, Sean, I beg of you. At least I did until just now. I would have done anything to make you pay, no matter how long it took.
Oh, but you should make those who have wronged you pay. It'll make you feel so good. Trust me. All the pain, all the suffering, it all goes away. It drowns it all out. Numbs it.
Maybe it does. And listening to you, I thought maybe that's what I wanted.
Sean.
But it's not just about me. Say I get my revenge. How does that help anybody else? If I become a murderer, my mum suffers 10 times more than I ever would. And so would all the people I work with. They're counting on me. And they worry about me.
Thoughtful words indeed, little one.
Yeah? Well, I get it now. I won't ever forgive you, but I shouldn't be the one who gets to punish you. That's what these guys are for. My mum, the prosecutor, people like that. Sean! Wow, you may be young, Sean, but you're way wiser than I'll ever be.
You could at least consider trying to better yourself, Kay. Very well. Then I suppose we'll be on our way. With me, young pup. On our way? To where? Where else? To the prison. Our home. Our home? And with that, the case came to an end. The case that had dragged so many people into its orbit. But as for me, there was one last thing I had to do.